"You're walking wrong," says 21-year-old who rates gaits on TikTok. "And if you need to slow your roll, kindly amble over to the right." October 17, 2025. 9 minutes. Summary. 194. Walking critic Cameron Rowe in New York City. Lindsay Cosgrove. By Jada Yuan. New York, Cameron Rowe vividly remembers the first walker he ever rated a 10 out of 10. In his line of business, making TikTok videos evaluating pedestrians' bipedal techniques on urban sidewalks, it's kind of like spotting a unicorn. Get concise answers to your questions. Try Ask the Post AI. The 21-year-old Cincinnati transplant had been wandering Fifth Avenue near 34th Street in late July, filming strangers and talking about them while trying not to come across as a creep when an older gentleman in sneakers, a striped polo and a backpack whizzed by, clearly on a mission. Rowe began to trail him, having trouble keeping up. He was moving at such a good pace, weaving perfectly in between the slow walkers, Rowe says as he takes me through the mean sidewalks of Soho. The form was immaculate. Rowe is part of a growing trend of specialized, non-traditional critics, such as Connecticut preteen Shirley Temple King and a London woman who gives brutally funny assessments of people's offerings at potlucks, taking over all corners of the internet. A couple of hikers reviewed a stick they found in Arches National Park in Utah and accidentally started Stick Nation, a universe of stick enthusiasts 4.5 million viewers strong that spawned a book. Rowe, who has 1.4 million TikTok followers, isn't even the first extremely online guy in New York to start a series calling out bad walkers. Matt Bass, a 30-year-old from Long Island who works in e-commerce, got into the game 2 months before Rowe and is closing in on his 100th Bad Walkers edition. Thanks to the smartphone generation taking over NYC streets, you can now spout off about your take on the subway, get stopped by a stranger who'll ask you to show them your apartment or get quizzed about your musical knowledge with a rapid-fire playlist. When we meet up on a Thursday afternoon in Washington Square Park, Rowe already has his phone out. It's a wide sidewalk, and everyone's walking great. A man's dog is pulling him along, but they're staying mindfully to the right, 7.5 out of 10. If you're wearing, like, intense heels, there's going to be some grace given there. If you're pushing a stroller, there's going to be some grace given there, Rowe explains. He also never rates anyone whose disability affects their mobility, though he will rate those around them based on how considerate they are. He's talkative, charismatic, and wildly opinionated. He's also prone to slip into corporate branding speak and statistic spouting. This is his actual job. He's the community manager for WeWard, a Venus Williams-endorsed app designed to get people walking more by getting your steps into a game, where you can compete in leagues, collect virtual icons on a route or get digital points that can be exchanged for rewards, like a cross between credit card points and Pokémon Go. What makes Rowe stand out is his Gen Z drive to help walkers improve. His videos aren't so much about being annoyed, though he's certainly annoyed, but about educating and problem-solving. The idea is for a tourist to land in the city and know it's not okay to block foot traffic with their suitcases. Or for young people like him who lost some of their formative years to the pandemic to get a little lesson in socialization. Rowe, who has 1.4 million TikTok followers, films pedestrians and rates their techniques, with both exasperation and praise. Lindsay Cosgrove. I feel like the number one thing that I tell people is, you've just got to be aware of your surroundings and what's happening, Rowe says. If there's room to pass, you're staying to the right, being mindful and being considerate, that goes a long way. Rowe's goal is to create a universal set of rules about pace and spatial awareness that people can use in other cities, or in school hallways, malls, or crowded events. Rowe welcomes imitators. He loves when people comment on his videos and say that rating walkers has become their new favorite game. Whatever gets people out there more. He and WeWard have already taken the series to DC and Philly. As for the walkers in our nation's capital, he boldly declares, they were just okay. I wasn't super impressed. I would say New York has them beat, for sure. To that, I tell him, try walking behind anyone in the military. Best walkers ever. Next up is London, a left side of the road city where the sidewalks are total chaos. When I've been, I tell him, it seems as if Londoners and all the tourists and immigrants from right-handed countries can't agree whether the same rules apply to pedestrians. I think I might be able to go and clean up some of the sidewalks there, he replies. If sidewalks flowed better, maybe people would walk more, because it would get them where they needed to be on time. For examples of great walkers, he suggests watching commuters in suits, locals on smaller residential streets or delivery workers who pull to the side to handle their business. To all of us, he offers up a challenge. How about instead of following turn-by-turn directions as we walk, we all try looking at Google Maps just once and then putting our phones away, to allow for the novelty of getting lost? I see people scrolling on TikTok when they're walking, he says, and I just want to reach my generation and get people to be more present in their environment and during their commute. Want to walk like a pro? Avoid these habits common to the most egregious sidewalk scofflaws. Double wides, triple wides, quadruple wides, aka hurting. Ro and I are in double wide formation right now, walking side by side, so we're already breaking all the rules, he says, laughing. Soon, we come upon a triple wide, or 3 people across, who are taking up all the space on a narrow sidewalk, making it impossible to pass. I would say that's the #1 offense, Ro says. It's just inconsiderate. A variant of this is the dreaded linked double wide, an overly affectionate couple who can't stop touching each other or holding hands on a crowded street. A public display of affection automatically brings the score even lower, Ro says. I don't want to discourage love, but let's be honest, time and place, no? We don't have time for love in a traffic jam. Slowpokes and lollygaggers who don't stick to the right. In a pedestrian-heavy city such as New York or London, use the same rules you'd apply to a freeway. Try to keep up a good pace. Driving below the speed limit is nearly as dangerous as driving well above it, but if you can't, stay to the right. Leave room for others to pass. The triple wide in front of us nearly saves themselves with their terrific pace, until they slow to a crawl and cause a pileup behind them. We've got to keep the pace consistent, Ro says. We've got to keep a straight line. We have to be moving. Brake checks and hard stops. Ever walk behind someone who suddenly stops in the middle of the sidewalk, for whatever reason, forcing you to rapidly shift gears? Far worse, though, are those who come to a halt as they step into a subway car, or freeze at the top or bottom of an escalator. Pulling over to the side to stop, though, is allowed and applauded.